Before this story ends, you might find yourself questioning what home really means, and why sometimes the people who seem strongest are the ones quietly falling apart. If this story touches your heart even a little, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel, because stories like this remind us that kindness still exists in unexpected places. The night it happened, rain hammered the city like it had something personal to settle. Mark sat in his small car outside the office building, hands gripping the steering wheel, staring at the dark glass doors. He was a single dad, exhausted from a long shift at the warehouse and worried about whether his 7-year-old son, Leo, had finished his homework with the neighbor watching him. Mark's life was simple, tight, and carefully balanced, one missed paycheck away from chaos. Inside the building, Emily, his boss, sat alone on the cold steps, heels in her hand, hair soaked, eyes empty. She was the kind of woman everyone thought had it all, confident, sharp, respected. She signed paychecks, made decisions, and never showed weakness. But that night, the mask had cracked. Her divorce had finalized that morning, and by evening, she learned her apartment lease had been terminated early due to a legal mess tied to her ex-husband. Friends she thought she could call didn't answer. Family lived far away. The city felt suddenly cruel and endless. When Mark finally noticed her through the rain, he hesitated. Bosses weren't supposed to look like that, small, broken, human. He rolled down his window and asked if she was okay. Emily laughed softly, the kind of laugh that comes right before tears, and said, "I'm fine." Then she paused, swallowed hard, and added, "Actually, I have nowhere else to go." The words hung between them, heavier than the rain. Mark's first instinct was fear. His apartment was small. His life was already complicated. He was barely holding things together for his son. But then he thought of Leo, and how that little boy believed his dad could fix anything. Mark stepped out of the car, held the umbrella over Emily, and after a long silence said something that surprised even him, "Do you want to move in with me? Just, until you figure things out." Emily stared at him, stunned. This man, someone who worked under her, who struggled quietly every day, was offering her the only thing she didn't have. A place to land. She wanted to say no. Pride screamed at her. But exhaustion won. She nodded, tears finally falling. Life under the same roof wasn't easy. Emily wasn't used to sharing space, especially not with a child. Leo was shy at first, watching her like she might disappear if he blinked. Mark worried constantly, about boundaries, about gossip, about what people at work would say. And sure enough, whispers started. People noticed Emily leaving Mark's building. Assumptions spread fast. At work, tension grew. Emily felt judged, and Mark felt exposed. One afternoon, Mark overheard coworkers saying he must be using the situation. That night, he considered asking Emily to leave, for both their sakes. But then he came home to find her helping Leo with homework, patiently explaining math problems, laughing softly when Leo finally got the answer right. Slowly, something changed. Emily learned what it meant to budget groceries, to cook simple meals, to listen to a child talk endlessly about school. Mark saw a side of his boss he never knew, someone gentle, scared, and deeply grateful. Emily, in turn, watched Mark sacrifice sleep, comfort, and pride just to give his son a stable life. She realized success wasn't about titles or money. It was about showing up. The real challenge came when Emily received a job offer in another city, a promotion, more money, a fresh start. It was everything she once wanted. But the thought of leaving that small apartment, of leaving Leo waiting at the door, of leaving Mark's quiet strength, made her chest ache. She confessed everything one night, afraid of his reaction. Mark listened quietly. Then he smiled, that tired, honest smile, and said, "You deserve a future that makes you happy. Leo and I will be okay." But Leo overheard. He walked up, hugged Emily, and asked, "Does this mean you won't be part of our family anymore?" That question broke something open. Emily realized she didn't just find shelter in that home, she found belonging. She turned down the job. Months later, life looked different. Emily found a new place nearby but still came over for dinners. The gossip faded. Respect replaced rumors when people saw the truth. Mark got a better position at work, recommended by Emily, who now led with empathy shaped by her own fall. And Leo? He learned that family isn't always about blood. Sometimes it's about the people who open their doors when you have nowhere else to go. If this story moved you, take a moment to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Because in a world that often teaches us to protect ourselves first, stories like this remind us that kindness, real, risky kindness, can change lives. Sometimes, the smallest homes hold the biggest hearts, and one simple question can become the beginning of everything.